on to you, Scorpios. You have the Six of Wands, the Three of Pentacles, and the Four of Cups. So, long story short, a lot of you Scorpios are starting to get to know yourselves a little bit better. I see that the more that you Scorpios get to know yourselves is the more you realize that a lot of people have been essentially wasting your time. And even deeper than that, they've been wasting your time because they're just sad sacks. These are people who are very much so dysfunctional. And, you know, it really does go to show how it is that you will meet people that are very much so dysfunctional. And this is why it is that I say that, you know, we're getting into a deeper level now. This is the reason why it is that I say that the more in this society you strive to be on point, is the harder it is for you to date. Because you're going to have people like this. You're going to find yourself in realizing, or you are realizing that it was easier for you to get to know somebody when it was like this for you. When you were trapped in a cage, and that you Scorpios may have done the things that societal norms was about. You know, the idea that you have to always be the one to put yourself out there, sacrifice, do everything that society would normally say that it's a good idea to do. You know what I mean? You know, do your endeavor best to be a regular, right? Ignore your heart. Ignore who you are, right? Just get into the American pie nonsense, right? It's not even really American pie, but get into the nonsense, right? The junk food and entertainment, right? And that's supposed to be you, right? You realize that it doesn't work, but you also for you anymore. But you realize that dating and getting to know somebody was actually easier back then. You know why? Because you were dishonest about yourself and with yourself. They were dishonest about themselves and with themselves. So it was easier because the two of you shared similar values. Even if it wasn't anything long-term or functional long-term, the two of you still shared similar values. So of course it was easier for you to date, because if you know what I'm saying, like you have the Five of Wands. Now that you Scorpios started to evolve and see things for what it is, like, oh, you got to do all the work if you want somebody to pay attention to you. Choosing signals. And if a person does this, then it means that it doesn't do that. And it's like, listen, at the end of the day, none of this stuff is going to really work long term. If you're looking for something real, a lot of you Scorpios are realizing that you've been in the Matrix. And when I say the Matrix, I mean, I'm not talking about the Andrew Tate, Sneeko type of nonsense from that perspective. I'm talking about the idea that you truly see things for what they are. If a person is ready, when the student is ready, the master will appear. And what I mean by that is, if a person truly wants to find love, truly wants to be in a relationship, their heart is open, then they are going to actually learn how to be in one. And they're gonna learn. They're gonna learn how to be in one, learn how to be a better choice, so that it's easier for people to choose them, right? Because they're gonna bring more value to the table. And how do you create value? You create value by being of service to other people. See, a lot of the times people are parasitic. What makes people parasitic or a parasite, Scorpio, is because they want to always be the one pulling the strings. They never want to make themselves of service to other people, right? They always want to have somebody service them, but they never want to make themselves of service to other people. They never want to actually benefit other people. So what they do is they try to make it seem like if they were to ever look your way, benefit you in such a way, it would set up the rest of your life for success. And that you will be walking on the yellow brick road forever until you make the physical transition, and life would become too easy for you, and you have other people in different countries like different countries and on the continent of Africa, like Gambia and other things going through their thing. That's how they're trying to flip this thing. And I'm not making fun of the thing. I got a lot of, that's not what I'm talking about. And I'm not trying to make fun. You see, no matter where it is that you come from on the planet, I'm not trying to make fun of you for coming there. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that's the narrative that those people are trying to flip it. Okay? So I don't want people to think that I'm starting to make fun of them. I don't care in the sense of trying to make fun of you. I'm trying to learn where you're from and gain the knowledge and how it can benefit me than to humiliate you and try to clown you for where you're from. I'm a scholar. I'm not trying to, So the thing is that the Four of Wands now represents, because of this, now that you Scorpios are starting to have that level of realization, now that's where the true power is. Because a lot of you, honestly, I might as well just go ahead with it. I always do that, right? But the Four of Wands represents, now you see it for what it is. And for you Scorpios, it's almost like you're aiming for the moon. Like you're shooting for the stars. Like you're looking for love, but love has almost been erased completely on the planet because so many people is on some goofy stuff. And they won't come up off the goofy stuff, even for it to benefit even themselves. And then the low IQ gets mixed up in it and all of that. And then the Knight of Cups represents you're no longer looking into, you're no longer delusional. You're no longer looking into like a cup and trying to fake Nostradamus it, right? You're Nostradamusing it. You're really seeing it for what it is. That you're seeing it it's not necessarily so much based upon 100% about looks. As long as a person is handsome enough, pretty enough, and over time they see why they need to be more handsome, that the handsomeness is not important. The overall health and taking care of themselves is more important. And because they are taking care of themselves, they are more handsome. They will become more handsome, as well as more physically seductive on the other side. That is the purpose of it. But it's not always about it's not about a person looking attractive for the sake of being attractive, right? It's the sake of being attractive because the person takes care of themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So now the Page of Cups now is about you. Your eyes were blinded before about this, but now the Two of Swords and the Eight of Wands, you Scorpios are going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're gonna rub a lot of people the wrong way because you're going to realize that a lot of people are not built, like I said before, for relationships like that. They're not, their heart is like on the, you know what I'm saying? Like on the Kabbalistic tree, right? On the Kabbalistic tree, on the right-hand side, right? That's Chokmah. You have the divine man, and then Bina, which represents Saturn, is the divine woman, right? Chokmah represents Jupiter on the other hand, right? Or Bina on the left-hand side represents Saturn. And then you have the divinity at the top, right? AKA Kether, right? And I'm saying all this to say that you can only reach these high levels of understanding and being divine, being divine and getting in touch with your own divine self once you begin to learn about yourself and accept certain things about yourself and to stop denying different elements of who you are. And because of that, you begin to know about yourself and embrace it and see it as empowering. That opens up your heart now, because now you're able to allow people to come on in. Most people don't ever get that far, because in order to get that far, you have to cross over from chesed, which is splendor, wanting the vast majority of what it is, Scorpio, that you see people do. Look for glory, looking to be, recognized and recognition for being the person that scores the baddest chicks or the most handsome individuals that they could get, that drives a Pagani and all this other type of stuff. You see what I'm saying? But then at the same time, it's like, but you're not going to be able to get there. And most people on the planet, that's worldwide, are not ready to be divine masculine, divine feminine. They're not. That's what that means. It means that when your heart is open and you stop lying to yourself, then you will be more brave, because you will, well, first and foremost, you will realize that the lies don't work, right? Which clogs up the throat chakra, that so many people are caught up into the chakras now and all this stuff, right? But the lies that you tell yourself will be caught up with the throat and the heart chakra, right? And stagnate those and confuse those and jam those up. But also, I'm saying all this to say that when you Scorpios actually now embrace these things, you will not date another person that is into that, only interested in partying, the substances, the being popular because they are attractive, handsome, being, the life of the party because the fact that they may drive a Pagani and all this other type of stuff. It's more so about you Scorpios now truly being in touch with yourselves. And because of this, you're seeking someone who's truly in touch with themselves. And that in on itself is a very difficult task that you see, you Scorpios have to understand that a lot of you have come to a place where most people on the planet are not ready to go. They would be destroyed by the abyss. For them to, for them to actually date the people that they want to, be the people that they want to. They don't even have the guts for that, let alone doing it for real. So a lot of you Scorpios, spiritually and mentally and physically, even when it comes to love, because love has to deal with that too. That's how you go from chesed to Bina successfully. Because what stands in the middle is the emptiness of it, the emptiness of it all, right? Dath, right? Or self-destruction or ego destruction. You Scorpios have gotten to a point where it's like you're satisfied being by yourselves, because the value that people are now talking about they're bringing to the table is not actual value. But let's clarify the Eight of Wands. Let's clarify the Eight of Wands. You have the Nine of Swords, the Two of Swords, right? And then you have the Moon, and then you have the Ace of Cups. So to clarify the Eight of Wands, the Eight of Wands represents letting it fly, shooting from the hip, so to speak. Metaphoric, spiritually speaking, where you're letting it fly, right? You're no more trapping yourself like this. You're not doing this anymore. You're not getting yourselves caught up and holding your tongue in certain instances where you know you should speak up, be more brave or more outgoing about the things that you want. Somebody that you're dating is trying to offer you some nonsense and stuff like this. They don't offer you loyalty. They don't offer you love. And then you Scorpios are just like, yo, okay, I could smash for a little while though. I just see a lot of you Scorpios being like, I can't even smash. and I just want to go ahead and say, Scorpio, all of that stuff that you're going through, this realization that you're going through, is all natural. because that's the same type of scenario that I went through when I was learning more and more and more about myself, was that ego destruction and that void of knowing what's the point of trying to smash somebody that doesn't even really have a connection to me whatsoever. And really the jury is out, or the jury is out on whether or not they even have my best interest in mind. It's like, why would I even allow myself to take some kind of risk like that? And that's the same kind of growth that a lot of you Scorpios are going through, right? So now some of y'all are going from the spider to the scorpion. Some of you are going from the scorpion to the eagle. Some of you are going from the eagle to the phoenix. But then you have the moon, which represents that void of what it is that I was talking about. And then you have now the Ace of Cups, which represents, you Scorpios now realizing that the type of offers that you can, that the type of offers that come to you, you're not going to really look at for very long. The type of offers that come to you and are successful are going to have to be true ones. And that in on itself, my dear Scorpios, is a whole other kettle of fish and a whole other topic for another day. But that's pretty much it. Overall, you Scorpios have gotten to a point where you are becoming more true to yourselves. And listen, if you think I'm making this up, if this is happening to you, you're going to find out just how much I'm not making this up. Your relationships with other people are going to change.